Happy Friday, Fumble fam. Thanks so much for tuning in today. We have a lot to get into today. We're talking about Kyrie and how KD clapped back at some of his haters. We're also talking about JJ Watt and how he has been released from the Texans. Cannot wait to hear what the Fumble Squad thinks about that. But before we dive into this, make sure you subscribe to our channel, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. Now here's the Fumble Squad. I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward.
Happy Friday, everybody. I'm Jackie Ray. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at JRayTheFanatic.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Britt. You guys can follow me on all social media at I am Britt Johnson.
Today is Fanner Faux Friday, Britt, so I know I'm super excited to get into that.
Yes, and I did a little sneak peek, you guys. I think we have some Valentine's questions that I'm excited to ask everybody on the panel. No Side Chick Saturday questions, but some Valentine's questions for sure.
Damn, I was really looking forward to the Side Chick Saturday questions.
Right.
That's unfortunate. Well, okay, cool. I'm super excited to talk about Valentine's Day. And while on the subject of the weekend, on Monday, we're actually going to be off. So do not expect a live show from us on Monday because we won't be here. We're not going live, but we will be back again on Tuesday. The show will be airing at 1 p.m. because we're still dealing with some of those technical issues. But then on Wednesday of next week, we are back to going live at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So tune in at 1 p.m. on Tuesday. Check out some of the other videos that we have going up on Monday, but we are not going live on Monday, you guys. So just wanted to let everybody know. Now, I know we're going to be talking about Valentine's Day just a little bit in Fan or Faux, but I want to hear what you guys have planned for the weekend. Are you doing anything different or special? Jackie, let's start with you.
I don't know. I got options. I checked my DMs before I got on the show, and I got options. I gotta figure some things out. I got options. I probably have to clue y'all in on Tuesday which option I decided to go with. But this is the first Valentine's Day I've had options, and I'm not sitting around heartbroken. I usually break up with somebody right before Valentine's Day, but now I'm like, I'm in a good mood and I can pick an option. I feel
I love to hear it, Jackie. Britt, what about you? Anything special going on? I know you want to fill us in on your Valentine's Day plans later in the show, so what else is happening?
I mean, I'm excited for the 3-day weekend, most importantly. Like, we get to sleep in and and this is obviously our first weekend without football in a while. So I don't know. I'm going to be having some withdrawals at the same time. So I'm feeling wine and mimosas all weekend. I just feel like that's going to be a thing. So I'm probably going to put on another couple pounds.
Love it. Well, it's the Valentine's Day pounds. We had the Super Bowl pounds. We had the holiday pounds. Now it's the Valentine's Day pounds. It all makes sense. I support it 100%.
I have to lose them all before my birthday, though. This is not a good thing. I'm going to Cabo next weekend, so this is not good. I can't be packing these pounds on.
Depends on where the pounds go, Britt. It depends on where they go. You know, some extra pounds in certain areas.
They go to certain areas mostly, but like Rihanna said, if you want a little butt, you got to deal with a little gut. So
I love it. Well, that's super fun. For me, I don't think I'm doing anything exciting or fun. I'm going to be seeing my new baby nephew later today, and I think that he's probably my Valentine this year. I just love him so much. He's so cute. He's adorable. Okay, you guys, let's jump into our first Need to Know news story. This is all about KD, Kyrie. So, as we all know, Kyrie is a hot topic. I mean, the guy says the earth is flat. He skipped out on games to go to that family birthday party without a mask on. He even claimed that he was KD in a past life. So, he's a great player. I like him as a person. He just says things that make him an easy target, right? Like, people just kind of latch onto these bizarre beliefs that he holds, and they are not able to really forget that or separate his personality from his performance on the court. So he is oftentimes the subject of very critical and negative headlines, which is why he decided he wasn't going to even talk to the media this season. Of course, that has changed. He is talking and doing post-game interviews. But yeah, I think he's just a sensitive guy. I think we all agree on that. He's sensitive and a little bit quirky. But KD wants everybody to know that all of the trolls who come for Kyrie on a daily basis, they aren't having the effect on him that they think they are. He says that he is just completely unbothered by what people are saying about his teammate. And he clapped back at them and the scrutiny that they put on Kyrie, and said that it's not going to impact his game at all. He said, quote, Kyrie is going to play a nice, efficient game this year. All that other shit that people talk about, I was never concerned with that. Kyrie is going to play the right way, and he's going to do his best when he's out there. So clearly he doesn't feel that Kyrie is going to be impacted negatively by what people say. The trolls that are trying to get under Kyrie's skin, KD thinks that it's not working. But what I want to know from you guys, and Britt, let's start with you. Do you think Kyrie really is as unaffected by all of the noise as KD says that he is? Because I don't think I necessarily agree.
I think he is, because I really, really don't think that he reads the messages. I don't think he checks his DMs. I don't think he is all up in his comments. Honestly, to me, the complete opposite of Kevin Durant, where Kevin Durant is sitting there all day going through his social media, having his troll accounts, doing it now on his personal account. I literally think Kyrie is the opposite. I think that he goes social media when he feels like he needs to say something or wants to, congratulate somebody on something. But other than that, I don't think he's on social media at all. Yes, he'll go down this rabbit, hole sometimes, which was what he did during the Earth is Flat days when he was on YouTube Hours, he said, and he just got pulled into this rabbit hole of doing stuff. And I think since then he's kind of okay, I need to not be on social media so much and not be as involved in this kind of stuff. I think he honestly goes on social media to search for knowledge. And when he wants to learn more about something, he'll go on maybe YouTube and kind of do that kind of stuff. But I don't think he's sitting there reading comments and reading, his DMs and checking that kind of stuff. I just think he's kind of past that. He probably did do that before, obviously, but I think he's kind of moved past that and he just doesn't care. And I think he's the complete opposite of his, boy Kevin Durant, which is why Kevin Durant probably was whoa, I can't believe this guy does not care and he's so unbothered, because we all know how bothered KD is about stuff like that.
KD does get very bothered by all of this. The only reason I think Kyrie actually does let it affect him more than KD thinks it does is because I feel like if a person was truly unaffected by the negative headlines and by the Twitter trolls and the people writing mean comments, I feel like the fact that he said, I'm not going to talk to the media this year because, I don't want to be involved in it, shows that whenever he does see these headlines, it does hurt him. And honestly, I don't blame him for being hurt or bothered by it. I would be super bothered. I am way too sensitive for that kind of fame and notoriety, I think. So that's the only reason I think that Kyrie maybe does let it affect him and get under his skin a little more than KD thinks it does. But Jackie, where do you stand on all of this?
I think Kyrie's actually a lot like me. I think that if he was like what Britt says, if he just went through all the comments, I don't think I'd be able to work on the fumble if I just really looked through the comments and, you know what I mean? Because people sometimes are just straight up vicious. I think that he has his core people that he cares about what they think, and he probably listens to them. And I think outside of that, he kind of shuts out the noise. And you can kind of see that on his social media. He'll post something and then it'll be months before he posts something else. So, he doesn't get involved like that. Sure, because he is an athlete, he might hear things that commentators say, or he might hear some posts where people say he's supposed to be Robin, he'll never be a Batman. I'm sure he hears that kind of stuff. But I still think that he figured out a way to go out there and play his game. And I think there's a certain element of him that would love to prove those people wrong, same way Spider wanted to prove Shaq wrong, so I think those kind of comments he might internalize, but he internalized them in a way that they produce fuel to his fire. The rest of us who are out here talking stuff about Kyrie, I guarantee you he ain't reading it. And if somebody's close to him reading it, they've been trained not to bring it to him, because if you in my circle, I'm training you, don't bring that noise to me. So I don't think he really hears what we say. He probably hears what the media says, and that's why he doesn't want to talk to the media. But I still think, he figures out a way to internalize that and make it fuel for his fire.
Yeah, I mean, he's
All
like
right.
a guy that or a girl that like goes and searches stuff. They always say don't go search for something unless you want to know the real on that. And I think that's what Kyrie knows about himself. He's like, listen, I ain't even gonna look at this because if I do, yes, I'm a sensitive guy. I would probably get bothered by it. So I think he completely moves himself from the situation. And that's what you should do. If you know, like I can read comments and people do not faze me. When I first started at the Fumble, I cried my little eyes out for like a week. And then after that, I am literally like, nobody bothers me anymore. And so I can read my stuff and it's perfectly fine. I can engage with them and whatever. But you have to know how far you can go with it without it actually bothering you. And I think Kyrie knows that it would bother him, so he doesn't go there. So I think he's unbothered because he doesn't look at it.
Like, Britt, you the GOAT for that one because I cannot. Because if once I see a comment, if I start commenting back, I got time. And now I'm going to go to your social media. I'm going to find something about you, and I am going to go for the jugular. And who wants to make that kind of time? I think that Kyrie's like that. Like, if I find a comment, now I got to research your mama, and now I see what your mama did back when you was 17. Now I'm going to hit you with that. Like, no. For me, it's just better to just not do it. Because otherwise, it's going to turn into this whole debacle. So I think Kyrie's kind of like that.
Yeah, I see that. I feel the same way when I read these negative comments about me that we get on our videos sometimes. Like, it takes everything in me to not respond. So I oftentimes just try and not look at them anymore because I know it's going to leave me walking away feeling like, do I really look like that? Do I really like that? And I hate that. It's just never good to start letting people's criticisms affect you like that. So, Britt, good for you for being able to read the mean comments and just let it roll off. Because for me, it ends up hitting me deep in the heart. I can't handle it. You guys, let's get into the.
Now you simping. Because, see, my heart don't get hurt. Your heart gets hurt. I just be like, what shots can I fire? Where's the arsenal? You're like,
Jackie's just like, Jackie, I feel like you're actually a lot like Matt Barnes. Matt Barnes is very like, if you see Matt Barnes comments when he goes, you are Matt Barnes. Yeah. And it was so funny because I had Matt Barnes on the Fumble before with me. And I was like, okay, you need to help me respond to the mean comments, So I was reading them. And then he was like literally going for it. And he's like, he did exactly what you said. He was like, oh, you got to go look at their page, see who's on their page, what their picture looks like. And you got to go back like that. And I was like, I ain't got that kind of time, my guy.
It's a rabbit hole. Like, it's the, oh, I got you. I'll be like the Kermit the Frog meme. I'll be like, I got you.
I know. It really is a rabbit hole. I have done that before too, Jackie, where I am like looking in like, oh, okay, your mom works at this elementary school. I'm going to call and tell her what she did. But like, I just realized that life. I need to just stop. I need to back off. But it's hard not to get like that. But you guys, let's move on. I want to talk about J.J. Watt because this is a big news update. So his 10-year run with the Houston Texans will come to an end this offseason. The 3-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year posted a video on Twitter to confirm the news. He wanted to break it himself. He didn't want fans to find out via news headlines, which I think was really awesome. And so, Dave, when we get a second, can you put that clip up for us?
I have sat down with the McNair family, and I have asked them for my release, and we have mutually agreed to part ways at this time. I came here 10 years ago as a kid from Wisconsin who'd never really been to Texas before. And now I can't imagine my life without Texas in it. The way that you guys have treated me, besides draft night, I mean, you guys booed me on draft night, but every day after that, you treated me like family. And I truly feel like you're my family.
So he, I thought that was funny that he was like, besides draft night, you guys mistreated me on draft night. But yeah, after 10 seasons, he is leaving the Texans. And the big question is, what's up next for him? Well, if his brother TJ Watt had anything to say about it, he's hoping that they'll be able to join forces in Pittsburgh. So he posted a meme, and I wanted to show it with you guys, but my computer is giving me hell today and would not let me download or screenshot or do anything with the stupid meme. But basically, I think it was The Rock going like this, like ushering him over. And saying like, come over here. But obviously that move would be easier said than done because the Pittsburgh Steelers they couldn't afford him right now. So there has been some expectation for a while that JJ was going to be leaving. Sports Illustrated's Mike Fisher reported on January 30th that opposing teams are planning to present offers to the Texans for him. He had just one more season on his current contract worth $17.5 million, and the Texans won't be facing any sort of cap penalties by releasing him since there's no dead money left on the deal. And you know, a lot of people are now wondering about Deshaun Watson. Deshaun actually did send out a message of support to JJ. He said, "Salute to one of the greatest of all time. I appreciate you for all the work you put in and more importantly, the person you are. Any team in the league will be better the day you put on their jersey. Love, my brother. More glory." Really nice message. Cal McNair actually spoke about what this might mean for Deshaun, and he basically said Deshaun is staying a Texan. So let's discuss this. There's kind of two parts to this conversation here that I would like to hear from you guys on. Where do you think JJ is going to go, first of all? And second, what do you guys think this means for Deshaun, and how do you interpret what Cal McNair said? Britt, let's start with you. What do you think are some good landing spots for JJ?
I honestly think he'll end up in the NFC. There are teams like the Packers, the Bears, Rams, but number one team that I think he should and could end up with is the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, we have been struggling with our defense for years and years and years now. And then every time we do get a star like, you know, Sean Lee or what's his face? Before Sean Lee was there, we had DeMarcus Ware. Lost him to the Broncos, unfortunately. But, you know, every time we do have this like star player, they end up suffering through injuries or they leave just at the peak of their careers, like whatever the case is. So to have a guy like JJ who is still, I mean, he's older, obviously. He's 31. But, I mean, during his time in the league, he's at 8 of those years been an all-pro, either first or second team. 5 of those are first team. So I think he's like a huge asset to any team he goes to. Obviously, I think he's a good leader, even as a defensive end on the team. And I think that it would be a great fit. Obviously, I'm saying that selfishly because I am a Dallas Cowboys fan. But JJ Watt, it's hard to kind of picture him with another team just because he spent his whole career with the Texans. And then prior to that, when he was in Wisconsin, like it's a very similar defense that he played there. So we haven't really seen him play anything different in his whole entire career, which is probably why he's been able to be so great because he's never had to change his game up. I don't know what he played in high school, but like I feel like he's just continued this same kind of like style of defense his whole career. So it'd be interesting to see where he ends up and if they switch up, you know, if he's changing from a 4-3 to a 3-4, like whatever it is for his defense, wherever he ends up. It'd be interesting because all those teams actually have different defensive styles, the ones that I named. But I do see him, you know, making a switch over to the NFC.
All right. And Jackie, what about you? Any teams that are at the top of your list?
That was fun. Yeah. So first of all, I think I loved his whole speech that he gave to the Texans, and I think the Texans need to realize like this is not something that he wanted to do. He wanted the Texans to start building a franchise that could actually make a real run for it. They've been in the playoffs several times. I know they were in there last year, 2018, I think 17, whatever. But they get dumped out, you know, they always get that wild card spot and then they get booted out at that division spot, you know, so he's getting old now. This is him saying, look, I want to go someplace where I could possibly win. So I think for him, the question there's a lot of teams where he could fit on. I'm sure teams are beating themselves up right now, trying to make the right call to get JJ Watt on their squad. I get why Britt would want him in Dallas because that has been a thing. They get these good guys and then they get injuries. That would be my concern. For him going over to Dallas, I don't know if the training staff in Dallas is quite right because guys go over there and all of a sudden it's injury after injury. So I'm like, nah, don't go over there. But, you know, I understand that point. I kind of see him going to Tampa Bay maybe. I mean, I know they have a very good squad over there. That would kind of make things bad for Ndamukong Suh. But I think that would kind of strengthen that defense over there. And then I think where he will end up, though, is in Baltimore, because I think that they are definitely in the mind of building mode, and they want to bringing in a veteran like that to strengthen that situation up. I think that would be great for him. But where he'll end up, I don't know. I just think that everybody's going to be making these calls to him. Ultimately, I want to be right. I want to see him go to Baltimore because, like I said, I feel like they're exactly what JJ wants. He says he's not interested in a team that's in a rebuild. He wants to be on a team that is building. I think that the Baltimore Ravens are definitely building, so that makes it a good choice for him. But we'll have to see. But I know for him, this is heartbreaking because this is the franchise that he wanted to succeed. He wanted to be there when they succeeded. He wanted to be a part of that success. And then to have to come to the realization that, nah, this ain't it. I know that was a difficult choice for him. I know a lot of us would love to see him play with his brother. So I'm going to just vote either Pitts, Baltimore. That's where I'd like to see him go.
All right.
Well, it's funny because if he plays with his brother, like say he gets, goes with TJ in with the Steelers or whatever. TJ, are you willing to take a huge pay cut to get your brother there? Because obviously they are over cap. But if you want to play with your brother, and TJ is going to be up on that big contract because TJ's been playing great. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler himself. He's only 26 years old. So you're going to be getting that big contract coming up now. And if you want to take that pay cut, let your brother come get some of that. Because I know JJ would be willing, just because he was $17.5 mil for this upcoming season. He'll play for 12. He'll play for 12 mil, like easy. Especially if it means you could be on a team that could win. And we know what the Steelers did last year. The Steelers were honestly the best team in the AFC, and they only didn't go there because we've talked about the COVID stuff already. But Steelers could work if TJ and maybe a couple of those other guys want to take a pay cut.
I see TJ right now going, wait, I'll play with my brother, but what did you just say, Britt?
Never mind. He's going from this to this. Go that way, my guy.
Oh, God. All right, you guys. So we have to wrap up Need to Know News. But for those of you who are tuning in, let us know in the comments where you'd like to see JJ end up. Is it with the Ravens, the Cowboys, the Bucks, maybe the Chargers? That would actually, I wouldn't be mad at that. That would actually be cool. We'll see what happens. And then let's wrap it up. Let's go to the phone.
I feel you, Devin, sneaking that one on in there before the post up, but that's a strong note for me. I see what you did there, though. That's smart. But let's get into this first one because I think that this is going to be one that we're going to have to discuss a little bit because you guys, I feel like Urban Meyer is off to a horrible start. I'm sure you've seen the headlines. He's got his coaching staff around him. He released the coaching list, I believe, on Wednesday or Thursday. But everyone is trolling him right now, including Jamil Hill, which I'll tell you about in a second. But they are trolling him because he's hiring Chris Doyle. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys remember Chris Doyle because there was a huge scandal around that. He was with, I want to say 21 years he was with Iowa. Yes, 21 years. A long time, a long stretch he was with Iowa as their strength and conditioning coach. And then now he's getting this nice little cushy upgrade to the NFL. But Iowa basically paid him off. They gave him $1 million to just leave and be gone because several players, including James Daniels started this whole thing where he said that Chris Doyle had said some racist things. He was a bully and he has racial disparities between the players. And then it wasn't just James that did this. It was dozens of players that came out and said the same thing. So the school ended up investigating it. Not sure what they found out in their investigation because, to be honest, they never told us. But they just decided, you know what, we're going to part ways with you. We're going to give you $1 million to basically settle this and get you out. So call me crazy, but I'm not paying anybody to leave unless I have found something that's going to be detrimental to my branding and my organization. Otherwise, I'm going to let you kind of roll with this yourself, and I'm going to do my PR on my side to say that we've distanced ourselves from you. So I would love to know what they found in that investigation. But Urban Meyer's, he's gone from the guy that I liked to now he's on my I can't stand him list because he's hired this man. And here's the really interesting part about this, because obviously they're doing an interview with him. They're asking him like, hey, what are you going to say to your players now that you've hired this guy that's accused of all the, this racial disparities and being a bully? What are you going to do about this? And he gives this long, convoluted answer. The whole thing is about 1 minute and 49 seconds answer that he gave. I'm not going to show you all of that. I'm just going to show you this snippet so you can hear what he had to say in response to that question.
And belittling some black players there.
Yeah, I've known Chris for close to 20 years. Our relationship goes back to when I was at Utah, and he was the #1 strength coach. And really, he was doing sports performance before sports performance became a high priority in college sports. And so I've known him. I've studied him. We've had a relationship. I vetted him thoroughly along with our general manager and owner. Feel great about the hire, about his expertise at that position. So we vetted him thoroughly, and sports performance is going to be a high priority as it really in the last probably 10 years, really certainly at Ohio State that became, if not the most important.
So I don't know if you guys see the little message that came up while he was doing his speech. Somebody commented, because this was live, and they said, "Nice dodge, Urban," because he didn't answer the question. And if you did take that as an answer, then you would have to take it as, well, I don't care, he's my friend, so it's cool. So this was a horrible answer. Like I said, a horrible start. And of course, Twitter's coming after him. My girl, Jamil Hill, was one of the first, so I'm going to kind of focus on her. And she tweeted almost immediately after this. And she said, would love to know what his idea of vetted means. And this is the same guy who lied about whether he knew about his former OSU wide receivers coach domestic violence allegations. And so why does Urban Meyer's word mean anything? So Jamil Hill sometimes doesn't get it right for me, but she nailed it on the head this time, because that's the thing. Urban, you played like you didn't know that your boy was beating up his wife for a long time, but you did. And now you're saying, well, it's none of my business, but you lied about that. So what does this vetting look like? She comes back and she makes another good point that I think is spot on as well. Do we have that other tweet? She basically says, we might not have that other tweet. She basically said there's a lot of black players that have been overlooked for these, or black coaches that have been overlooked for these jobs that are qualified. So imagine how they must feel, because right now there's only four black coaches in Chris's position, Chris Doyle's position. So imagine how they must feel looking and seeing this man who's been dismissed for racial disparities get a job, and there's no real explanation for it. I think that this is terrible. I think he is off to a horrible start. I want to start with you, Britt. I'm going to get both of your opinions on this, but Britt, what does this say? What message are the Jaguars sending with this whole, yep, we're just going to hire Chris Doyle and we're cool with it?
This is very dangerous. And you guys know I am a Buckeye fan. I love Urban Meyer. I always have. And honestly, that's 2018 season was very hard for me as a fan to watch, because we're talking about a guy that is a 3-time national champion coach. He has coached throughout his career every single position. He's been a DB coach, he's been a linebacker coach, a quarterback. He knows the game almost better than any coach, I could say. And he's literally brought so many great players into the league from his Florida days, from his Ohio State days. It's unbelievable. So him being, a first-time now NFL head coach, I was like, oh my gosh, he should have been. Years ago, we've been talking about he should have been a head coach in the NFL, and he's never taken a head coaching NFL job. So to get this Jags job, knowing we all know Trevor Lawrence is probably going to be that #1 pick and so he's going to be getting this guy to be, his star, and then the Jags are going to do all these great things with Urban Meyer. And the 2018 situation with Zach Smith, everybody kind of was like, okay, we can't definitively say yes or no how long you have known or whatever the case is. And he ended up retiring and not getting fired from Ohio State for health reasons is what the ending thing ended up being. So people had time to let it go. He had, stopped coaching for a little bit. We all were able to sit back and be like, okay, we can't 100% say he did not actually get fired for this, whatever, and left it alone. Again, with another coach and having a situation like this come up with another coach, I get I hate to say this with Urban Meyer, but the good old boy group club where you're just hiring your buddies, even though you know they're not the greatest guys. And he said literally in that interview, he's known Chris Doyle for 20 years. So you're not hiring him clearly because he is the best person for the job. You're hiring him because that's your boy. I mean, every coach does it. We just talked about Andy Reid's son, Brett. And the reason why he has his job is because that's his daddy. His daddy's the head coach and he got the job because his daddy. Like, it happens across the board, which is why we continually to see so many, white guys get these opportunities, because it's their friends, it's people they've known forever that aren't necessarily deserving of the job. But when you're head coach, you get to decide who you want around you. This was not a good idea, especially considering why you ended your college coaching career. Like, we cannot have you, like, nobody ever denies the fact that that job was deserving. He was the number one person, I said, out of the white coaches that were selected. Urban Meyer is number one person that was deserving of a head coaching job this year, being a white guy. Like, no doubt in my mind on that one. But you can't continually have these situations now where you're bringing it comes into question your character as far as who you're hiring and who's behind you in this situation. It was a terrible decision to do. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know what he owes Chris Doyle, like what dirt he has on him to bring him in, but it just does not make any sense to me at all. I was really sad as a person who is a huge Urban Meyer fan.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I was one of those domestic violence thing happened. I was like, this can't be all on Urban Myers, because she knew, the wife's parents knew, like, so I gave him a pass.
Athletic director.
This is one, right. A lot of people knew. So it's one of those things where I'm like, damn, you really just can't give people passes. But Devin, I have a question for you, because now we know that, I mean, it wasn't just one person. It wasn't just two people. It was dozens of people, dozens of players that said this is racial disparities, and he bullies people who don't behave the way they want him to behave. And James is with the Bears now. So it's not like these people are just college athletes that didn't have an NFL career. So now word is going to spread. These guys talk. So how do you make this make sense to the players? How does Urban Meyer say, hey, yes, you guys, this is my guy? And what is Chris going to say?
Yeah, that's actually the one thing that I was thinking. I feel like hiring him makes the team less attractive for free agents, because especially right now we're seeing in the NFL how athletes are becoming more willing to speak out and they're becoming more vocal. And I think that that's really important and something that we should all embrace. But when you hire somebody who has a known history of this type of behavior, it sends out a terrible message to the athletes, first and foremost, but also for the athletes who have a choice in where they end up. I feel like this is going to work against them. And I can't make it make sense. I can't.
Right. Yeah. No, this is just a bad look all the way around. And it's for a franchise that really needs to be able to get fans in the seats. Granted, we're not having fans in the stands right now, but they have struggled in getting people to act out the games. Right. They do. Yeah. So why this just all around is just a bad look. I think it's bad for player morale. And I think this is just another hash mark for people to be like, see, Jags are always going to suck. I'm not going to buy tickets. You need to do whatever you can to get butts in those seats out there. But this is an all around bad look to me. I have one more question, Britt. Do you walk it back? Do you hear what everybody is saying and be like, you know what, this was bad. We're going to have to take our offer back and we're not going to hire Chris. Do you walk it back?
Well, the thing that, the Jags are such a young team and they're going to be such a very young team. None of those players are actually going to get to decide, oh, we're resigning or whatever. Nobody's in that position. They have no star players that they need to retain or try to retain this year. So honestly, Urban Meyer doesn't have to do anything. And he knows there's going to be butts in those seats because they're going to draft Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is sunshine, white brother, and he's a brother though. We know what Trevor Lawrence has done for Clemson and for Black Lives Matter and all that kind of stuff this last year. So I think when he gets into that position in April when they have the draft, I think he's going to step up and say, Coach, I don't feel comfortable with this dude as soon as they feel an instant of something that Chris is doing wrong. I think the Jags and Urban Meyer will talk everybody into giving, Chris a chance. But as soon as something goes wrong, Trevor Lawrence will be the first person in that locker room to be like, well, I ain't playing for this dude. You either let him go or I'm going to sit on that bench. And I really do think that Trevor Lawrence has the power and will keep an eye on Chris Doyle and make sure he's on his P's and Q's.
Well, that's good news. I hope you're right, because this just looks like this is just a bad move all the way around. And that organization needs like you said, they need some sunshine. So when Trevor Lawrence gets there, hopefully Chris either gets his or Trevor gets him out. Stop singing, because I'm just start dancing. So let me move on to this next one. All right. So speaking of dancing, though, I think I'm going to have to just admit it. I feel like Tom Brady's playlist is fire. From what he put on his IG story to throw shade to just what he plays in the background, I'm a fan of his playlist. I want to know what he's listening to when he's working out before pre-games. I want to know all of that because I love his musical selection. He posted another pic of himself and his squad. Oh, see, I just had to get that little bit. Y'all know that song? That's Without Me, man. I love
He's back.
And
Back again.
back. I love that sound. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Sorry, I'm having a moment. Anyway, love that song. And so he played this song, and of course, he's holding up the 7 fingers for the 7 rings. And guess who retweeted it? Eminem retweeted it and said, there we go. Congrats, Tom Brady. They hate us because they ain't us. And so I was like, oh, Eminem retweeted this. I was so excited for this morning because I love Marshall Mathers. That is my boy. 50 grand. I love that man so much. But Marshall, I think we might need to take these next 3 L's because we might just be caught up in the moment. I said I like Tampa Bay Tom better than Patriots Tom, but I think we're overlooking a lot. And, Twitter came and they were respectful because I think everybody loves Marshall Mathers, but they let him know. They reminded him of the things he said in the past. So let you look at some of these tweets. Yep. So this one says, I don't know, Marsh. I hate Tom Brady because he's a Trumper, and anybody that vouched for him is forever trash on my book. He means in his book. Okay. No argument. I have no argument for that. Let's go to this next one. This one is good because he said, you sure you want to back someone that is good friends and a public supporter of a white supremacist? Given your music genre, I think you'd have more respect for the people that inhabit that scene. DM that POS if you want to congratulate him that bad. Just saying. Okay, I'm going to take that L2. Let's go to this next one. And this next one, it was the best one because, when people look at your past, this is what I do. I go to people's past. And he says, Tom Brady is a known Trump supporter. And Eminem said in the 2017 BET Freestyles, any fan of mine who's a supporter of his, I'm drawing in the sand a line you're either for or against. So either Eminem or his social media manager is a hypocrite. What's it gonna be? Don't take that L2.
Not with the MAGA hat.
Right.
MAGA hat in the background.
Right. My high went to a real low on that and shouts out to Twitter. They were very respectful in reminding Marshall, like, nah, bruh, this ain't it. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and take those L's on behalf of Marshall because they were all correct. You guys did fabulous on that one. So Twitter was right. But let's get into this next one because this next one, I am a little confused as to the response from Twitter fans because Enes Kanter is getting no love in this situation, not even from Portland fans. And I don't know how to feel about that because now I feel like I'm on to DM him a hug because they were just kind of savage with it. But in last night's game, he got whacked in the eye and it was from his teammate, Robert Covington. And just take a look at how that ended.
Oof. Boy, look at that, opening up a gash. The left eye of Enes Kanter.
I'm watching this and I'm like, oh no, Enes, that's sad. Are you gonna be okay? He goes to the locker room. He looks like he was just got out the octagon. I was like, oh no. So we go to Twitter to see what they're saying about it. They are not as concerned as I was. And this His first user said, I'm sorry, but you got to play through this. I'm sorry, what? He's bleeding from the head. Okay, next one. Completely agree. Man should be in the game helping this team right now. And I love how he couldn't even put a towel over it. Nope. Everyone has to look at Enes. Look at everyone. Enes got a finger to the skin. What? And then I think I have one more. Yep, soft. Brad Wanamaker would play through it and still drop four. What is happening?
Wait,
Devin,
what I want to know is if these people on Twitter who are saying you got to play through this, I'm sure if they got a paper cut, these people would be like going home from work and they think that he needs to play through having a bloody gash on his freaking face. This is weird. People are weird.
They are weird. Britt seems to agree with them, but on that one, if I get a paper cut, I'm going home because if I'm at a desk job, I don't love my job. But if it's a regular job, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put that liquid skin on there. I know this because I had to do it in bowling all the time. I'm gonna put some liquid skin on there, wipe it off, and yes, I am coming back. But in that moment, and I see the blood, I'm gonna be terrified because a lot of blood just gonna freak me out. So. Yeah. But then I'm not going to criticize him for walking off and not putting a towel on it. But Britt, you seem to be in agreement with all of this. So let me know your thoughts.
Because I don't know if you guys can Google it, but there was a young gentleman named Austin Rivers who had his whole face effed up, eye gashed through, bright red as a cherry, could barely see, and finished the game when he was with the Clippers. And we already all saw earlier this year with Kawhi Leonard and his mouth thing, and literally, obviously he had to get his mouth fixed, but the next game he was already playing again. So sorry, this is a little cut. It looks probably way worse than it is. He should have went to the back, put something on it, and came back out there and played again. Because I have seen players way bloodier than that and still finish the game. I'm sorry. Yeah. I think he was being a big baby.
Okay. Well, the people have spoken, I guess. So I got nothing else to say on that one. I'm going to jump right into this next one. You guys, I know you remember this tweet with the streaker saying that he had actually made a bet. And so he was supposed to be getting some $50,000 because he made a streaker bet. Apparently, Bovada is deciding not to pay him. And they're saying they're refusing to pay the streaker because basically he made a bet on himself. But they're not only not paying him, they're not paying other people. There's another guy who made an $800 bet. And so now he won $6,000. And Bovada told them that they're not giving him his money either. And so Bovada issued a statement that I want to show you really quickly. It says, we've identified some betting irregularities on our Super Bowl prop. Will a fan run onto the field during the game? And so they say our players have always entrusted us to ensure the integrity of all props offered in our sports book. We will continue to make the same blah, 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 blah. Basically, they're saying, yeah, we lost some integrity because this guy made a bet and then actually went out and did it. But there's nothing in writing that says that they can't do that as far as I could see. So fans are a little upset about this, and they kind of took off on Bovada a little bit, and they said, don't use, now people are just airing their grievances out. They say, don't use Bovada. They are stealing people's money when you request a withdrawal. After you request a withdrawal, they disable your account. Don't use them anymore. And this user says, I stopped using them after they required a photo ID to withdraw my money, but not to put my money in. So now people are just airing their grievances out about this, which I think is a bad look because now you got people who might not want to use your betting site. And this one says, so anyone who bet anything more than a few bucks on this prop is associated with the streaker and committing fraud in an extremely organized betting syndicate. Crazy how such a household name in online gaming industry is acting like bookies for the mob. So I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say that this is bad press for Bovada, because the last thing you want people to do is be like, oh, we can't trust them to actually pay out these bets. I understand why they wouldn't want to. But I kind of wanted to hear from Britt, but we're short on time, so I'm just going to zoom through these so we can get to our fan or foe, which is why we're all here on Friday anyway. But real quick, I just wanted to circle back to J.J. Watt, and I wanted to show this last time that he was on the field with Deshaun Watson, because this is a touch moment. I feel like it's worth a revisit.
Good job, brother. I'm sorry. We wasted one of your years. I'm sorry. You should have 11 wins. You should.
That's always going to hurt to see that apology from J.J. Watt to Deshaun Watson. And Texan fans and Texan sympathizers, they are taking this one pretty hard. Twitter is just very, very sad about this situation. It says Houston fans have lost literally everything in the last 2 years. Okay, I don't know everything, but okay, yeah, they definitely lost a little bit. And then this one says, wow, this does show how your ownership and GM coach make such a huge difference to players in the NFL. NFL players should have clear options rather than stay in a situation that is not positive for their career. Players only have so many years to play. And I think that's our concern about Deshaun Watson. But yeah, it's a sad day. This one says in just 2 seasons, the Houston Texans lost DeAndre Hopkins, Jadeveon Clowney, J.J. Watt, and possibly Deshaun Watson. That's a lot for that franchise, and it's definitely a sad day for you guys. But I have something that will probably cheer you up. Oh, yeah, the 2 deadly hurricanes. I forgot about that. This one said, yeah, and we survived 2 deadly hurricanes. UH football, coach fiasco, the Astros saying bye to Springer. A very painful time in Houston, which is correct. But I have something to cheer you up. At least it might cheer you up. Chuck, a.k.a. Charles Barkley, has decided to do the Silhouette Challenge. And I'm going to show it to you. Take a look.
He apologized.
Oh, he did it? Honey baked ham in there?
Oh, he did it? Oh.
Beach This is outrageous.
Take it off, Chuck.
Eat it up, Bucky.
Oh, take it off. Take it off. That's going viral, Chuck.
Hey, yeah, Chuck. Oof.
Oh, that's going viral.
There was too many people in here. I was going to get naked. Oh. Because I don't wear drawers. No. What?
He didn't ask that.
I just don't think he needed to tell us that. We did not need to know that he's walking around here commando, because now I can't watch this show ever again. This is just horrible. But I just do want to give you a fun fact. If you are thinking about doing the Silhouette Challenge, please make sure you have clothes on, because it is very easy. I can edit videos. It's very easy to take that red out, and then we'll just see you in all your glory. So if you're going to do the challenge, just make sure you are cool either being seen butt naked or you have some clothes on. So just PSA. All right, so now let's get into this next one, because Carmelo Anthony, one of my favorite players, and he has been not the Carmelo we know. And he was the first NBA player that I got to actually meet and sit down and talk with when he was drafted to the Nuggets. So I'm always going to love Carmelo. It's not just because he's in the bestie circle with my king. But last night, going at the end of the third quarter, he had 7 points, but he finishes the game with 24 points, and he played 25 minutes. So he scored most of those points in the fourth quarter, which is needed for them to beat Philly. So very proud of Carmelo, and want you to hear what he said to Chuck after the end of that game.
Well, I just want to say, number one, you were awesome tonight. But I can tell you, when I had those flashbacks late in my career, you're going to be tired for the rest of the week. You know that, don't you?
Nah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
A glass of wine. You're going to be fine, man.
Yeah. I got a good glass waiting for me tonight.
Uh-oh. Was that chosen family?
I'll let you know.
Season high 24 for Carmelo Anthony as Portland beats Philly for the second time in a week.
So congratulations to them. It's just so good to see Carmelo like that. It really is. And I'm hoping that he can stay healthy and continue the season on. But we're short on time, so I'm going to jump right into what we're not going to do. And I'm going to get through this really, really quickly, because I definitely want us to get into Fan or Faux Friday. But I just want to have a conversation. I'm probably going to have to talk to Devin about this a little bit, because I'm a little concerned. LeBron James, you guys know he is 36 years old, and we just had 3 overtimes in a row to teams that aren't that good. And I'm a little concerned. We had to 2 overtimes to fend off the bottom feeding Detroit Pistons, and they didn't even have Blake Griffin or Derrick Rose, because now Derrick Rose is with the New York Knicks now. Congratulations to him for going back over there. That's cool. And then we did set a record, because this was the first time since the 1991-1992 season that we had 3 straight overtime games. We fared better than that team, because we won all 3 overtimes. But this is 3 overtimes in a row against teams that we should just be kind of chilling against. So this one is a little tough for me because I don't know what's really happening. So we, like I said, we had those three overtimes, and then LeBron is out here. He is playing a lot of minutes, and I think that's my main concern right now. Is yes, I know he says that he doesn't get tired. I mean, I get tired, and I'm not. You know what I mean? So what are we talking about, LeBron? You get a little tired. I get it that Anthony Davis wasn't in there, Alex Caruso wasn't in there, but this is a lot. It is a lot to see LeBron in this fashion. So I do have a little quick video that I want to throw up really quick for you guys to see, but then we need to have a discussion.
Shot and game are just about synced for the tie. LeBron ties it at 105.
Well, now it's all up to your defense.
Throw that video in there just to remind y'all LeBron James is clutch. That's the only reason I wanted y'all to see that, because otherwise, without that shot, the Lakers would have lost that game. So I have to remind y'all that he is clutch. But Devin, what we not going to do, right, is not be concerned about 3 overtimes against teams that we should be blowing past. So really quick, are you concerned about this?
Okay, so I have to admit it's uncomfortable. Knowing that we've been in 3 straight times doesn't feel great, but I think it's worth acknowledging that 2 of those were without Anthony Davis, who normally will bear a bit of the weight on his own shoulders. And like you said, LeBron has been playing a lot of minutes. He hasn't taken games off like we thought he would going into this season. I think he's just due now for like a little bit of a rest. And it's unfortunate that he's not going to be getting that during All-Star week. The All-Star game, not week. But yeah, so it's uncomfortable, but I'm not concerned to the point where I feel like it means something for the team's future throughout the season. I just think that he needs a little bit of a rest, some time off, and things will go back to normal.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't want him to get tired out. Shouts out to him, though, because he's done exactly what I've said players should do. He's modified his game a little bit. He's much better from the outside, so he's not as physical as we're used to, which is a good thing. So, but my guys, can we start beating these teams that we should be beating easily? Can we beat them easily? That's all I got to say about that. But that's all I got for what we not gonna do.
It's Fan or Foe.
It is finally here. It is time for Fan or Foe Friday. So we had to cut a couple of the questions out for you guys today just because we're so short on time. But we had a good show today. Like, we talked about a lot of really important things. That JJ Watt thing was just huge and a blockbuster thing that happened. But without further ado, let's get into some of these comments from this week. So excited to hear what you guys have to say. If we can get that first one up there. Okay, we learned last week that we are calling this man JD. He says, Shaq said Russell Westbrook is better than Donovan Mitchell. Do you guys agree? Well, we usually don't agree with what Shaq says, but what do you guys think on this one, Devin?
Well, Shaq obviously has an issue with Donovan Mitchell anyway, but this season Donovan Mitchell is doing really well. So I don't know. I don't feel comfortable answering this, but I might have to say Donovan Mitchell is doing better than Russell Westbrook.
Jackie?
I mean, Russell Westbrook is definitely a better player to me, but I think it's not. They don't play the same game. And obviously, he's on a better team. Spider's on a much better team, so he's able to be a way better team. So he's able to be an asset. So this is just Shaq stirring the fire. This isn't even a comparison that needs to be made. And I just don't want to agree with Shaq, but deep down, I do like Russell. I don't even want to say I like him better. I just do. I like his style of basketball better than I like Donovan's, but I love Donovan's play. So I just don't like this comparison at all.
Yeah. I don't think they should be compared either. And I knew you were going to have trouble answering this because Russell Westbrook's your guy. So, but he's on a terrible team right now. So, good question, JD. What we got next? Juice Man 31 says it's not KD fault. The Nets suck. Kyrie and Harden trash. Okay, so you're talking about 3 guys that are all-star players that will probably all be Hall of Fame players. So you're saying it's not KD's fault the Nets suck. First of all, the Nets don't suck. But what are your guys' thoughts on this one? I'm sure this is when we were talking about the 3 consecutive losses that they had, which KD obviously did not play in one of those games. And I don't think Kyrie or Harden are trash, personally.
Well, I just
Anybody
think
else
it's
have
super
different?
I think
This is a
it's
silly
funny.
statement. Yeah.
I think it's funny when people say Kyrie and James Harden are trash. I mean, these are like top players in the league, and you're going to sit there and say they're trash? Come on. It's not true. Teams are always going to take some time to adjust. They're going to have those down moments. And I don't think you can say that it's KD's fault, Kyrie's fault, or James Harden's fault. So, Juice Man, what?
Yeah. I'm trying to see his picture. Who does he have in his picture?
I can't tell.
I can't see who it is. So I'm like, obviously he's a fan of whoever that person is. So I'm like, I can't figure out
LeBron James. I feel like that's the Cavs, LeBron James, but it could be just because my eyes always LeBron. But I feel like that's LeBron from the Cavs.
I mean, I see the sweatband in the arm sleeve, so maybe, but then I feel like it's white and red or something, or white and blue on his shirt, on his jersey.
I see white and blue.
Yeah, I see like a blue or red, so that's why I'm like, it looks like a Sixers jersey or something. I don't know. All right, I feel like that could be Baron Davis, maybe, but I don't see the thick beard. I don't know.
Well, let us.
Misty says,
Sorry. I looked it up. It is LeBron. It's LeBron in a Cavs uniform. You were right, Jackie.
Okay. You know what the eyesight. Which is maybe why he thinks Kyrie sucks. Maybe that's why. I think Brady called him the B word.
I do too.
So we're thinking it's the B word. Misty, you might be right on that. All right, moving on to the next one. Mamba Machine, who is a Fumble regular, he likes to cheat on more than just his diet. I'm trying to think which question this was on. I can't even remember. He likes to cheat on more than just his diet. This is Tom Brady. So this is the Tom Brady when we were talking about him with the avocado ice cream, and that was his cheat thing. And Mamba Machine decided to say he likes to cheat on more than just his diet, which is true. So I'm gonna give it to you, Mamba Machine. Tom Brady does like to cheat on more than just his diet. We know there are several Super Bowls with asterisks next to it because of his cheating scandals. And obviously Twitter just reminded us that we shouldn't be liking Tom Brady. Me and Jackie was simping for a little bit, but thanks for bringing us back to reality, because now we remember. And then I started remembering earlier in the year when Tom Brady got that check for his business, small business. So forget it. Yes, Tom Brady is a cheater. Good job, Mamba. Rodney says, who do you predict to win the NCAA championship in basketball? This is like to know my opinion. So first of all, I am a huge NCAA fan. I love March Madness. It is my favorite time of the year. This year is probably the most unpredictable because all the powerhouse teams are not ranked right now. Duke is playing terrible. UNC is playing terrible. Kentucky's playing terrible. Baylor's actually playing really good. I like Baylor, but I don't know. This year, I'm going to have to wait till obviously all the conference championships are over to kind of predict based on the seeding. But this NCAA championship year will be up for grabs for sure because there's no team that is just like killing it. And I think it's crazy that these players, if you guys don't know with NCAA, all the players are literally in their dorm room or at practice. They are not allowed to go anywhere, and they're literally being hunkered down this whole year. So they are able to play in this tournament and to play in these games. So shout out to all the NCAA players who are struggling right now.
Yep.
I know you guys aren't huge on NCAA. Did you guys have a prediction or no? No?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I mean, I'm always
Jay the Bot. LA fans
I don't-
would do the same, maybe worse. So this is obviously when we were talking about the Tampa Bay celebrating and how crazy they were going. Jay, I think you're wrong because LA fans did win 2 championships and we didn't do a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You ladies agree? I would not do worse.
Yes.
Yeah, because
How
even
did you say
when
we
we
would
go
do the
downtown.
same? Go, Jackie.
No, like even when we did go downtown, it wasn't anything like what we saw in Tampa Bay. We saw people downtown. One guy got beat up for saying something bad about Kobe. But other than that, we wasn't hanging on street signs and pulling down street signs or anything like that. It was a small group and it was fairly orderly. So no, lies.
Yeah. All right, let's get that next one up there. Giannis is unstoppable. He just needs to shoot a little better. Jackie, I know you're the Giannis hater of the group.
I am not the Giannis hater. I do not hate Giannis at all. I like Giannis, but I just think that the way the game is now, I think he's great at what he does, but this isn't a game anymore that they just acknowledge you for what you do. They acknowledge what you do sometimes, and then they focus on what they want you to do. So I think that that's where Giannis is. But as long as he keeps doing what he's good at, he'll be fine. I don't think anybody is unstoppable, though, but clearly you can stop him. But yeah, I don't hate Giannis. Take it back.
Well, earlier this week, I just felt a little hate from you towards my boy Giannis, but that's nice. All right. Is that it, or do we have any more? Jackie, have you found a cuddle buddy yet? Well, apparently Jackie has multiple, if you guys didn't listen to the beginning of the show.
Yes.
Options, though. So ask me the same question next week. I might have an update.
Oh, can't wait. I think Rodney might win the Fumble fan favorite this week because that was a good question. I wanted to know that, and I'm sure Devin wants to know that too. So that was a good one. That was probably my favorite. Are we? Yeah. I think. Oh, you might have one more. Oh, what? See his booger, Britt. Stop. He was finishing his breakfast.
No. I'm done. Okay.
Boogergate's back. I almost forgot about Boogergate. Maybe Dennis, you might be my favorite. Oh, Robert is the best one. The hard, crusty ones with the single nose hair in it. Okay, Robert takes it. Robert takes it.
Okay, thanks for watching, you guys. Don't forget
the hard, crusty ones with the single nose hair.
Oh my God.
We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Go, Robert!
That's so nasty.
Ew.
That was hilarious. I had to screenshot that one.
You guys,